As men, we hold a spiritual weight that demands directional intent. When culture tries to define what manhood is, it's our responsibility to reclaim who God has called us to be. At 5-Star Man, we've designed a 45-day challenge to help transform you physically, mentally, intellectually, emotionally, financially, and yes, spiritually. It will move us from passivity to purpose, from weakness to strength. Sign up for the 45-day challenge today.
There is a gravitational pull for man to remain grounded on this earth. Yet, there is also an adventurous spirit within that propels him to reach beyond. To reach new heights, a man must become wiser. Spiritually empowered, man must become stronger. Man was not made for the earth. The earth was made for man. Intended not as an anchor, but as a launching pad into his God-given potential.
3, 2, Roger Tower, 1.
To become the man intended for the heavens.
Liftoff. We are go for launch.
Make sure. Hey guys, welcome to 5-Star Man Champions live stream. I'm your host, Neil Kennedy. I'm glad that you are here. If you are new to 5-Star Man, I want to encourage you to go to 5starman.com and sign up for the 45-day challenge. That really is the entry level to pursuing the 5 passions of authentic manhood. And you'll get a free copy of the 5-Star Man book. You may want a physical copy. You'll be able to get that at 5starman.com's books, but you'll get a free copy, and then you'll get a lot of other collateral free, a lot of other excerpts from books and materials. And when you go through the challenge, I promise you, it's going to be a game changer in your life. I absolutely am amazed at what God is doing with the 45-day challenge. So go there, and I know that it's going to be a blessing to you. Hey, I also want to share with you, I want to share with you this new book that I've written called Tithe, Tapping the Network of Heaven. I promise you that this book is going to approach tithing very different than anything that you've ever heard. Not that it's not scriptural. What you're going to gain is an understanding of what a lot of other teachers and pastors have given you, but I really break down Malachi 3. Once you get to chapter 6, I break it down so that there's an understanding that comes with it, that once you understand what's actually happening when you tithe, you will never want to do anything else but tithe. You will never be deceived by the anti-tithing message. You won't believe that tithing is part of the law, which it's not. For you and I, we're in the covenant of grace. We live by faith. And so we tithe out of a different posture and position. And this book will help you understand it. Go to 5starman.com and just go to 5starman.com and go to books, and you will see it. If you already have the book, if you've already received it, go ahead and give me a shout out if you read it and you recommend it. What happens when you order the book, I send you an ebook copy immediately, so you don't have to wait. The physical copies will be shipped as soon as they arrive from publishing, but they're going to go out pretty quickly here. And so thank you for being a part of that. And then also, I want to share with you about our conferences that are coming up. And so let me show you this video before I get to that. All right, so I want you to put on your calendar 2 different conferences that we have regionally. We have one that's going to be in the Huntsville, Alabama area at Calvary Church. That's technically right there on the border of Huntsville and Decatur. Traditionally, Calvary was in Decatur, but it's the church has moved toward Huntsville. So now it's a bridge, perfect place, perfect position on beautiful land. And so go to 5starman.com events, and you'll be able to register for our event at Calvary. We're going to have some great speakers. Danny Duval is joining us on this lineup. We got, of course, George Sawyer, myself, Derek Drawn, and it's just going to be incredible. And then our Owasso, our Tulsa 5-Star Man champions will be in March. And so go ahead and get ready for those. And I promise you, this last weekend in California was absolutely phenomenal. In fact, we've already rescheduled. We've scheduled the Authentic Conference in Louisville, Kentucky in August. We've scheduled the Lodi, California Authentic Conference for next November. And we've got one that we're looking at in Pennsylvania. And so we got a lot going on. So help yourself to that. So, hey, I need to get into this. First of all, I want you to pray. I hope that you got your field notes. If you do not have these, you need to go to 5starman.com and sign up and register so that you can have them. I'm not adding them onto the sites any longer. If you want the field guide, you need to go to 5starman.com and sign up for the 45-day challenge, and you'll get these. A tragedy happened at Abundant Life Christian Academy in Madison, Wisconsin. And I want to be careful with the comments tonight. If you would, in the comments section, I want us to be really careful. As you know, we're living on the edge on some of the platforms that we broadcast on. And so I really don't want to get into the perpetrator of the evil that took place today at the Abundant Life Christian Academy. But what we do want to pray against the spirit behind the confused identity of the perpetrator, and then also those that were tragically slain at the campus. We pray for their families. We pray for everyone involved, the students, the faculty. The school will never be the same. I'm telling you, it's just awful what has happened. And part of it is this anti-man culture that is devaluing human life, and especially in the last 5 years. If you've been around 5-Star Man at all, you know that we actually forecasted this 14 years ago. When I started teaching about the anti-man spirit, I laid it out there of the progressive, or not the progressive, the degressive path that evil takes, and the path that the anti-man spirit would take. And so what happened a few days ago in New York with the killing of a CEO, and then what happened today at the school, is just part of this anti-man culture. And so pray with me and be in agreement with me. But again, let's be careful on the comments. You know what, just say praying, but let's not fill the comment section up with our venom or our anger, which we all should have, and we do have. We have a righteous anger. Are you guys with me? Are you hearing me okay? I don't see a lot of activity going on. So if you would just hit in this. Yeah, thank you, Bart. In agreement. And Chris praying. Thank you, guys. All right, get out your field guide. I want to get started at 7:08 right now. I've got a lot to cover. Psalm 91 verse 1 and 2 By the way, if you are part of the Circle of Champions, if you don't know this, this is what the 5-Star Man site looks like when you have registered for the 45-day challenge. What happens is it becomes a personal journey. It recognizes, see, it says, welcome back, Neil. It recognizes you so that as you journey through the 45-day challenge or the daily champion or the champion you, it recognizes you, knows all of the paths and journeys that you've taken. I'm telling you, this is an incredibly remarkable site. And we have thousands and thousands of men that are part of this. And I just want you to know. And then if you partner with us, you get access to all of Champion U courses. And you also get, I mean, look at all of these courses that you get. Look at all of that. There's years of journeys here that you can take. And then also you can be part of what we call the Circle of Champions. Now, this is absolutely incredible. And so I'm not logged in here, but the Circle of Champions is absolutely phenomenal. Here you go. The Circle of Champions. These are all champions. And it's a private online community, not social, but a private online community that's reserved strictly for those that are partners with 5-Star Man. So, all right, let's get into this. Psalm 91. Psalm 91. I'm going to I should have already had this pulled up, guys, but you need to pull it up anyway. Psalm 91, if you would go there. I appreciate all you guys that are part of the champions. We're going to have Challenger celebrations at 7:45. Go to Circle Champions and you can link over and join me tonight celebrating champions and hearing the testimonies. All right, you ready? I'm gonna go over to the amplified version if I can. Yeah. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will remain secure and rest in the shadow of the Almighty, whose power no enemy can withstand. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust with great confidence and on whom I rely. For he will save you from the trap of the fowler, and he will keep you from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you and completely protect you. I'm telling you, this scripture has become, it's always been a Hallmark favorite, but it has become such a powerful tool in my arsenal of believing God for his protection and his safety. And we're talking about the making of a champion. And what I want you to see tonight is that who you are in private will determine who you are in private is what prepares you for what you become in public. We'll say that again. Who you are in private prepares you for what you become in public. There's so many men who attempt to be one thing public and another thing private. Now, listen, we all have a challenge in our life, and that we all have to become authentic. And the hallmark of what we want to be as 5-Star Man is authentic. That means that who we are privately is what's preparing us for what we are publicly. Isn't that the real test, guys? The real test of being a champion is who we are in private. I know that that's the test that I'm challenged by. And we're using it as an example of David when he stepped out of the ranks of the average onto the field of contest to take on Goliath, who was called the champion of the Philistines. He was called a champion because he was one who would step out from the ranks. That's what it literally means to be a champion. You can go to Webster and get one definition, but what you want to do is you want to go to the Hebrew. What does the Hebrew paint the picture of a champion? And it literally means in between. We talked about that last week, and go back to last week and watch that. But tonight, I want to talk about this process of private matter becoming public performance. Private practice, preparation becomes public performance. So who you are privately is what moves you publicly. So let's talk about that. Matthew chapter 6, verse 6, Jesus is teaching and he says, but when you pray, go into the most private room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Listen, guys, if you want the awards of man, do everything that you do publicly. If you want the rewards of God, do what you do privately. So I want to give you 7 things, and I got to go quickly, 7 things that will help you perform publicly because of what you do privately. Remember, the principle tonight is who you are in private is what prepares you for what you do in public. All right, number 1, focus on the present. You have to get this in your DNA. Nostalgia is an obsession for the past. A fantasy is expecting a future you're not sowing a seed for, or you're not believing for, you're not working for. It's believing that you're going to have a future because of fate, not because you're living by faith. And there's a ton of people, I would say the majority of men live in either a nostalgia or in a fantasy. The secret sauce, listen to me carefully, the secret sauce of living successfully as a champion is focusing on the present, living in the moment. It's what Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 says, now faith. Faith is an actionable step that you take now. It is present. Listen to me carefully. You're never closer to the character of God than when you are living in the present. Because God is always present. God is always present. That's the secret that he revealed to Moses. He said, I am. He's not saying I was, which he was. He's not saying I will be, which he will be. But he is always present. He is always now. And the secret sauce of being a champion is having the mental capacity to be present. To be present. Are you getting this? I can't emphasize this enough. We have so many people that are so distracted by picking up tablets that they're not ever present. Number 2 is execution over results. Execution over results. This means that you want to excel in the details of your life. You want to excel in the details of your life and not worry about the results, because if you excel, the results will be the byproduct of your performance, your preparation. The secret sauce here is consistency. It's what you do daily that determines your destiny. It's not what you do occasionally. Write this down. I should have written it down. It's one of my number 1 byproducts of pull quotes. It is champions what? Do daily what the average man does occasionally. Champions do daily what the average man does occasionally. You're not ever going to be really the winner that God wants you to be in life and in relationships and finances and your walk with Christ if you're not consistent in your daily steps. Champions do not, I saw Derek Drawn on here, and I'm copying this from him. Champions do not rise to the occasion; they rise to the preparation. In other words, you're not going to exceed in the contest what you didn't prepare for. You will not. You must prepare yourself. Remember what the definition of success is when preparation meets opportunity. All right. Number 3, continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. What you want to do is you want to get better every day. Get better today. You should wake up with that mantra. Today, I will be better than the man I was yesterday. Today, I will exceed what I did yesterday. Today, I'm going to read. Today, I'm going to learn. Today, I'm going to be articulate. Today, I'm going to be focused. Today, I'm going to be aware. When I walk in a room, I'm going to be situationally aware. Today, I'm going to make small incremental changes that will determine big destinations. Continuous improvement. Number 4, discipline and standards. Discipline is discipleship. Discipline is discipleship. Some of you know this, and I'm only sharing this with you because I'm trying to get you to understand and comprehend what I'm doing. But every day I have a reading plan that right here, and it says Bible in 90 days. You're not seeing this because of my screen. Let me show it. All right, this is my reading plan. Now this one's not logged in. Yeah, here it is. I have a reading plan, the Bible in 90 days. So I read through the Bible every 90 days. Why am I doing that? Because number 1, I'm a disciple, a follower of Christ. Number 2, because I'm gaining the discipline that is going to make a difference in my destiny. Are you grabbing this? Are you with me? Discipline over and standards. The distinction of a champion is that they demand personal excellence. Let me explain this. You can't compete with me because I want you to win. But I am competing with myself. I am competing with myself. I'm not the man that I want to be. But tomorrow, I'm going to work on being better than I am today. I'm not there. In fact, in many ways, I'm embarrassed that I've not arrived at the level that I want to be. But I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to pursue, and I'm going to prepare. And listen, this is what I want you to get. I want you to understand there's so much more in you. And maybe as a coach, I'm speaking directly to you tonight, and I'm telling you, all right, tonight, put to bed today, but tomorrow, let's wake up and pursue it better. Let's wake up and pursue. Be disciplined. Let's wake up and pursue. All right, number 5. Let's look at number 5. Number 5, control what you can control. Here's what David understood. David understood his skill set, and he could control his weapons that he had prepared for, but he could not control the advanced weaponry that King Saul was trying to lend him. It would have been a deathly mistake for David to take on the armor of Saul to go out and try to battle Goliath. He wouldn't have the agility. He didn't have the strength. The army wouldn't fit him. He had not proved the armor. What good would the armor be for him if he hadn't proved it? He wouldn't have the flexibility to sling the stone. And the armor that Saul was offering was defensive primarily. It was not offensive. And so David understood, he knew his skill over the advanced weaponry. And I want you to understand that you always will excel when you work what you've proven, not what you assume. My throat gave up, so I want to say that again. You will always excel when you work with what you've proven, not what you assume. There's a lot of ministers who would hear a message, and rather than taking the time to apply it and put it into their discipleship and their discipline, they would assume the message of another man, the message that that man had proven, and make the assumption that they could carry out the same battle. That's what happened to the sons of Sceva when they attempted to take on demonic activity. They assumed what Paul had preached, and they took it upon themselves, and they got themselves whipped. They messed around and found out what would happen. And when you mess around with demonic activity and you not proven yourself, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I don't know about you, but that's some good stuff right there. All right, number 6, preparation. This is really interesting because what you want to do is you want to mentally prepare for challenges. Do you know that you can mentally exercise? You can mentally prepare yourself. I remember years ago, back in the 90s, I heard a teaching by a man by the name of Dennis Waitley, and Dennis gave an incredible story about a man who was a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War. But he practiced as he was a prisoner, he saw a lot of his friends giving up hope. So he played a mental game of golf every single day. He would literally, in his mind, drive up to the course, get out, put on his shoes, walk out to the range, get the balls, practice every club, and then play 18 holes of courses that he had played as a young man. Then he began to design courses in his mind. He was a prisoner of war. He didn't have anything else to do. So he practiced and played in his brain. When he was rescued and got out and got home and rehabilitated himself, he went out and played golf and shot a 74 on his first round out of being a prisoner of war, because he played a mental game every day while he was a prisoner of war for years. I've yet to shoot a 74. I've gotten in the 70s, but I've never shot a 74. I played Pebble Beach. The first time I played Pebble Beach, I was, so enamored by the course that I played horribly. And I got a yardage book and I went home because I was going to play it the following year. And so every day during a period of rest during the day, I would take that and I would break down each hole. And I would say, you know what, on this hole, I really only have to hit it 165 yards off the tee. I don't have to drive it 250. I really only want about 160 so that I can have the approach. And so I began to mark on that yardage book exactly the course that I wanted to play, the way I wanted to play it. And the next time that I played Pebble Beach, I played it incredibly. My son created an avatar on Sony PlayStation and put me on Pebble Beach, and the avatar was much better condition than I was. And I said, well, give me something to shoot for. And I'm telling you, that avatar, I have a picture. I bought the same clothes that the avatar had. And when I played Pebble Beach, I played it better than I'd ever played it. Visualize your opposition. Carry out the scenario, what if? I want to challenge you about something. carry out the scenario, what if, on what happens if you make this sale? What does that do? What happens if you have opposition? Carry out the what ifs and try to find the wisdom of what you would do on what ifs. Guys, are you getting anything out of this? I feel like I'm giving myself encouragement. All right. Number 7, I got to wrap this up. I got 1 minute. Practice spiritual fortitude. David knew the spiritual force that was going to go with him into battle. David knew, and he replayed the prophecy of his life constantly. There was a great pastor that spoke a word, a prophecy over me and over one of my friends. And I have it on audio. It was at an Authentic conference. And Dr. Bob Rogers spoke a word over me. And do you know, every day I listen to that word, because when you first hear it, you can't imagine that it's going to come to pass. Yet when you start hearing it every day, faith comes by hearing. And so I began to hear. Now I'm beginning to believe that the word of the Lord is true for me. In the same way, David had to replay the word that Samuel had prophesied over him. You're going to be king. You're anointed to be king. Listen, when you have the entire government hunting you down to kill you, when you have opposition from not only the Philistines, but you have opposition from your own brethren, and you better have a prophecy to hold on to. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you know that, yeah, it would be easy for me if I'm just taking on my enemy. But when my brother has turned on me, that's when it's hard. When you have to take on betrayal, you've got to remember the prophecies. We're talking about the making of a champion. Obviously, there's a lot of material that we're going to be going through. But I hope that you've been encouraged today. I'm 1 minute over, so I've got to shut this down. And I will see you next time. Let's see. We're not going to have champions until January, the starting of January. So I'm just telling you straight up. But I want you to go and get 5-Star Man. Go to 5starman.com books and get the book Tithe. Get it tonight. I'll see you next time.